YouTube creators and subscribers, I just wanted to thank you all for tuning into my video. Today we're going to be going through the Phanerozoic era, so let's begin. The Phanerozoic era is the current geological eon in the geological timescale, and the one during which abundant animal and plant life has existed. It began 541 million years ago and extends to modern day time. It begins with the Cambrian Period, when animals first developed hard shells preserved in the fossil records. It starts with the sudden appearance of fossilized evidence of several animal phyla. And you can see those examples in the photographs on the side and below. This era had the emergence and development of complex plants, the evolution of fish, the emergence of insects and tetrapods, and the development of modern fauna. And you can see some of those examples on the slide here. Plant life on land appeared in the early Phanerozoic Eon. Tectonic forces caused the continents to move and eventually collect into a single landmass known as Pangaea, as stated and cited here on this map and slide. The name is derived from ancient Greek words phaneros and zoe, or zoe, which means visible life. Eras of the Phanerozoic Eon. The Phanerozoic is divided into three eras: the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, and the Cenozoic, which are further subdivided into 12 periods. The Paleozoic features the rise of fish, amphibians, and reptiles. The Mesozoic is ruled by the reptiles and features the evolution of mammals and more famously dinosaurs, including birds. The Cenozoic is the time of the mammals and more recently humans. Paleozoic era is the earliest of the three geological eras of the Phanerozoic Eon. It is the longest of the Phanerozoic eras, lasting from 541 to 251.902 million years ago. It's subdivided into 6 geological periods, from oldest to youngest: the Cambrian, the Ordovician, the Silurian, the Devonian, the Carboniferous, and the Permian. During this era, time of dramatic geological, climatic, and evolutionary change took place. The Cambrian witnessed the most rapid and widespread diversification of life in Earth's history, known as the Cambrian explosion, in which most modern phyla first appeared. Life began in the ocean, but eventually transitioned onto land, and by the late Paleozoic era, this took place. And you could see the different shells, the continents, supercontinents, and the type of life that might have resided during that time. The arthropods are a group of animals similar to modern day spiders, shoehorse crabs, and worms. Very similar to insects, and you could see all these different depictions of arthropods on this slide. We have crab, we have some kind of insect, millipede or centipede, tarantula, a horseshoe crab, and it looks like some other animals and spiders. Next is mollusks, and these are forms of snail-type shells, and we could see various examples of those life forms here in this slide. So we have the sea snail, the regular land snail, and then a bunch of these type of shell organisms. We also have some clams on this side, more depictions of that life form. Next is fish. Fish started to develop during the Paleozoic era, And there's not much to say about this slide. We have various depictions of ancient fish on this slide. And they were very similar to the modern day fish that reside on Earth. Next is amphibians. We all know what amphibians look like. And the most common is the frog, and we have that depicted here. We also have some type of lizard or salamander. Next is synapsids, and these are similar to dinosaurs and rats, and we could see various depictions on this slide. Next we have diapsids. These are similar to modern day reptiles, and we could see a few of the depictions of the diapsids. Here on this slide we have a alligator or crocodile, we have the iguana, and a chameleon, and then some kind of underwater diapsid depicted here, which is basically just a bone structure of that ancient animal. As we could see, there was abundant life being developed during the Paleozoic era. So it's very important to note that this is a very important history in Earth time period. Great forest of primitive plants covered the continents, many of which formed coal beds of Europe and eastern North America. Towards the end of the era, large, sophisticated diapsids and synapsids were dominant, and the first modern plants appeared. The Paleozoic era ended with the largest extinction event in the history of Earth, the Permian Triassic extinction event, which basically killed off all the dinosaurs and most of the animal life that existed on Earth at that time. The effect of this catastrophic event was so devastating that it took life on land 30 million years into the Mesozoic era to recover. So it took life 30 million years to redevelop after this extinction event. Now the recovery of life in the sea may have been much faster. The Paleozoic era began and ended with supercontinents, and in between were the rise of mountains along the continental margins and flooding and draining of shallow seas between the mountain ranges in the interior of the continents. Most paleontologists agree that those creatures and much of the rest of the Mesozoic life ended when the Earth collided with an asteroid or a comet 65 million years ago. The supercontinent Pannotia broke up at this time. The paleoclimatic studies and evidence suggest glaciers indicated that Central Africa was most likely the polar regions during the early Paleozoic era. During the early Paleozoic, the huge continent Gondwana formed or was forming. Mid-Paleozoic, the collision of North America and Europe produced the Archaean Caledonian uplifts, and subduction plate uplifted eastern Australia. By the late Paleozoic, continental collisions formed the supercontinent of Pangaea and resulted in some of the great mountain chains, including the Appalachians, the Ural Mountains, and the mountains of Tasmania. And we could see those three depictions of those three mountain regions in the bottom part of the slide here. Now, because the Paleozoic era is subdivided into 6 periods, we're going to go through those periods in the next episode. So I wanted to thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. You have a good afternoon or evening.